Hey, this is Saurabh. In this lecture, I will give the introduction about the class and what is an object and how we create an object with an example. In the previous lecture, I have provided the details to how to install the Visual Studio on Windows. If you want to install the Visual Studio on your system, please watch lecture 1. So, moving on the next slide. Here, introduction of the class. Now, what is a class? Firstly, I need to tell you that class is a reference type. Reference type means we can store the address of the value, not the value directly in the variable. If we are talking about the reference type, the value is not stored directly in it. Now, here the classes can be declared by using the class keyword before any unique identifier. Unique identifier, that means the class name which we have provided while creating a class. I will let you know in my next slide. So inside the class, what we can define, like inside the class can be collection of the data member and a member function. Now, here the class contains fields, properties, methods, and events, all these things here. So, where we use fields, why we use fields and methods? So, fields can be used to store the data, and also method can be used to perform some specific task. Here, here I will provide the details like syntax of the class. Here the access modifier. About the access modifier, I will let you know about my upcoming videos. Here the access modifier, then after the class is a keyword I'm using, and the class name is using unique identifier. Then after init, we are using curly braces because the scope of the class is inside of this is curly braces, and in it I provide a fields, properties, methods, and events. Okay. Now moving on the next slide. Here, what in object? Object can be referred as an instance of a class. So what does that mean? We can call the like members or the methods of that class while creating of an object. Means with the help of object, we can call the members and the functions of the class which we have created. So object, how we can create the object? Object can be created with the help of the new keyword and followed by the name of the class. Means here's an example I have provided that employee, suppose employee is our class name. Okay, then after I'm creating the object of the employee which is referencing the employee class, with the help of new keyword. I'm again creating the object of the employee. So here example, here we can create the object of a class. Now employee is an like I told you about, employee is a class name and emp is an object which is referencing that class. Here, here are the examples I have provided. I will show you that how we can create a class in our Visual Studio. Look at, when you open your Visual Studio, you can see these of the screen. Then after click on the create new project. Here you can select see that create a new project. There's a lots of options have been provided. What we need to do, you can search console application. There's two console application is provided. One is for .NET framework and is console app. This console app is for .NET core. It's the latest version of .NET. Like we can create our application in .NET core too. But what we are using in this video, I will let you know about the .NET core in my upcoming videos. In this video I will tell you about the .NET framework. It's okay. Then clicking on the next. Here the project name is asked. Suppose I'm telling about you employee dummy. You can provide any name. It's depend on you and the location where you want to save your project. So here this has been provided, and look at the .NET framework is showing to us. .NET framework also need for creating a any type of .NET applications, but not in a .NET core. I will let you briefly describe in the my upcoming video about .NET core. Okay. So here I click on create. Now it's open now. Here it's already like employee dummy is my project name. which I have created, and these are files have been automatically created while creating in a Visual Studio. So here we can change the access modifier. I will let you know about it, access modifier. So here I directly change the name, like I am telling about the employee only, employee.cs. When I'm changing the name here, it asks you are renaming a file. Would you also like to perform a rename in the project? Yes. So here the name also gets changed. Look at the name has been gets changed. So it's look at here's a directly a main method is already defined here. So main method is the entry point of any type of application, while any type of console application which we have created in it. It's necessary. It's not mandatory to create like a, or every class. Like in a one class at the starting time we need to create that. If we are using main method in more than a one class, it's showing an error. So here I'm taking an example of employee. So firstly I declare about the fields. Here the fields have been provided like fields. So suppose I'm taking about the string and a name. A string as a name, here the field, and a method I'm telling you that one is method. So method can be defined as suppose void and full name print full name. I'm just any type of name you want to give. Here the void is the return type, what we want to return. We don't want to return the anything. So if you want to return any type of string value, then you can write here string. Then it's showing an error here, compile time. Why? Because of it asks about employee.print full name. Not all code path return a value, means it want a value which is in format of a string. Suppose if I given here integer, then it asks about the integer value it wants return. Okay, so it's depend on you what you want to return. You can use as a return types here. I don't want to return anything, so I return here return type my is void. So here I provided details like here printing the how can print the like any type of value in Visual Studio or of our application. So I am using the console dot write line. Console.writeLine or write both are same mostly, but what happens in it, if we are using write line, then all the new value has been printed in the next line. But if I using write, then it print all the value in a single line. Only the main difference between it. So here what I'm given here, console.writeLine and printing the value like hello employee, and then after closing this. So it's completed. Then after what I'm doing, look at, if I directly access these two value, it's not accessible to me, like name. Look at, it's not showing any type of name here. So what I'm doing, I need to create an object to accessing the members or the methods of that class. What the class name here? Class name is employee. As I told you, these are the access modifier. This is the class and this is the class name. As I told you, provide your details in a syntax as a syntax in the previous slide. So here firstly we need to provide the class, then after object, any name you can provide. It's depend on you what you want to do. Then after new keyword is used to create the object of that class and the employee. Okay, so here look at, it has been created now. So what we do in this, we need to provide like give the name like accessing the field employee dot, and then after name, look it, I am able to access the name right now. I can provide a name here, that one is Saurabh, and a printing console, as I told you, for printing the value here, what I'm doing, I'm directly right here in a console.write line. Okay, now I will let you know about the difference between console.write and console.write line also. So then after what I'm doing, I'm just accessing the print full name, means this value here, then after employee dot, and then after full name print full name, and then look at, we are able to access the print full name while using creating the object of that class only. Then console dot read line, Why I'm using console.readline, I will let you know in just a minute. So this is the class and this is the object. Means here is the object of employee is emp. Okay, this one. Then accessing uh, fields, accessing field. Then after accessing method. Here the details is provided only. So here is a class. Then after here I creating the object of that class. With the help of the object, I am able to access the data members and a member function. So while clicking on the start button, it's debug firstly. Look at it's just now it's debug any CPU. It's the being build started. It's the beginning of our code. There's any error is occurs or not. Firstly, check that. Then it run our application. Look at what it's shown to us that console.writeLine printing the name as a employee.name it's printing to us. So I'm able to see that I assigned the value employee.name here as Saurabh, so it's showing us Saurabh, and I'm calling the value here employee.print full name, so it calls the method which I created here. Okay, print full name, and it doesn't return any value, so that's why I'm not store this value. I'm directly call this method. I'm not storing it anywhere. Okay, so because of it's not returning anything to me, then after what I'm doing, I'm just printing the value console.write and hello employee. Now it's showing hello employee. It's printing that. Okay, then I will let you know about the difference between console.write and console.write line. Suppose here in the console.write line, like a hello employee is printed on a different line and Saurabh is printed in a different line. But if I'm using console.write in both of the cases, so what happened when I click on a start, it's showing the results in the same line. Look at it's showing in the same line, but in a console.write line, it's printing in a different line. So that's the difference between console.write and console.write line. Now about console.read line, why I'm using this? If look at here, the cursor is waiting to enter any type of key, but when I click on any type of keys here, it's exited from that window. But if I'm not using console.readline, then what happens when I click on start? It's not showing the output window. It's directly exited from that window. Look at it's showing that window, but with
So as you see, like in a console.write line, when I'm using it, waits, the output window waits till while I'm entering any type of key. But if I'm not using the console.write line, then it's only show the output and exited directly from the output window. So these are the difference while I'm using the console.write line and console.read line. Now here in the next lecture, I will provide the details about how we are using a string and a string builder and what's the difference between them. Thank you. Thank you for listening.